Good afternoon, Guardians. My name is Rowley McIntyre.
My name is Sidney Kesha.
Samkelo Pulana.
Nosipo Manyonga.
Brandon Manar.
Lyndon Knutzer.
Genevieve Cherry.
Vuigwana from Nomsa.
I am the Sheiks Manager for the Eastern Cape Province, and I am passionate about safety, and that is one of the reasons why I'm sharing this moment with you.
I always tell them in my engagements to say, it is not about Eskom. It is not about the stats. It's about your family. They are the ones who want you back at home.
However, as Eskom, we can only go so far in terms of promoting and ensuring that we highlight all these things like dangers surrounding our lines.
Zero harm is one of our core values, and at the end of the day is job safety number one. To be able to achieve zero harm, we all have to work together, and we all have to make safety personal. Now, to make safety personal, we have to believe that all accidents are preventable.
It is possible. We've got everything written down to the T, including how work needs to be done, risk assessments that employees need to do before they start working, safe working procedures, task manuals, everything is in place. Now, what is key that the employees need to understand is that those things were written in blood.
You know, people had to die for these life-saving rules to be put down on paper so that we can understand it and adhere to it. So yeah, I urge all employees, every employee, to abide by these rules and to exercise them.
It is important to educate Eskom employees about life-saving rules, more especially zero harm. Remember, we do work for our families here. We want to go back home alive. If we do not comply, we're going to die, we may be crippled, and we won't be taking the money back home to the one that we love.
The life-saving rules are: be sober, buckle up,
Hook up from height, have a work permit, open, isolate and earth before you touch.
I mean, through experience from other colleagues, it has been identified that all of them are important, you know.
So it is very, very imperative for Eskom, as they are doing right now, to promote safety, to train people, to make sure we do comply with all these necessary important legislations, because all MNO staffs, by law, we're supposed to attend the environmental legislation, HVREGs. HVREGs is high voltage regulations. So we need to comply, we need to make sure we understand all these things. And us as senior supervisors, we need to make sure we push, we train, we develop, and making sure that the staff, they do thoroughly understand all the limitations and what is involved in terms of the lines and regulations.
And I think a lesson for everybody is that anybody that walks out your door to go somewhere is your responsibility, and I think from our side that's what we strive to do, to make sure that they get to work safely and get back home safely to their families.
I remember when they called me, I was in class. I refused to believe that he died because I had seen him a couple of days earlier and we talked, and I could see that there was improvement, even though the later doctor decided that we can't see him because he was a bit critical. But I still hoped because I had spoken to the guy.
When you're out in the field, try to do as much as what you can to apply the rules, because the time when you find when an accident happens, you know, you don't think of all these things. I must put this in place, I must put that in place, because it can happen so quickly that you won't even find time to do corrective measures before you can actually involve yourself with the accident or with your colleague being involved in an accident. So I think, you know, no job is ever too important.
Akho nto uyenzayo ebalulekileyo kwigqitha safety. Nakuphi na umsebenzi ozawenza funeka uqiniseke ukuba usebenza safe.
So we'd like to comply and making sure that all the time, whatever that we do, we need to understand the consequences of taking shortcuts.
I always tell them in my engagements to say, it is not about Eskom. It is not about the stats, because they've got this connotation of thinking they're doing management a favor by being safe. So for me, I always bring that emotional part to say, it's not about me, it's about your family. They are the ones who wants you back at home. If you die, the reality that I always portray is that if you die today, 3 months down the line, I'm going to replace you. As sad as it is, it's a harsh reality, but I will replace you. But your family will never replace you. So that's one thing that I want the employees to take to heart, to say it's not about Eskom. Yes, we will benefit, but it is about me.
This afternoon, my appeal to all my members are that we continue to uphold these rules of Eskom. We comply with the standards and procedures that have been set aside to ensure the safety of all our staff.
We need to encourage the employees to adopt it as a safety culture that we live in our daily lives. Thank you, Guidance.